Hi, everybody. I'm Ruth George, trust and estate attorney, and I'm here with Paul Hood today. Hi, Paul.
Ruth, how are you this morning?
I'm doing well. Thanks so much for being here. You're so amazing. You're so helpful. And we were talking before about all sorts of things, estate planning, and I know you have just so much to talk about and offer, and I love all of your insights.
Well, thank you kindly. That's very kind of you to say.
We were originally talking about trust planning and some tax considerations, and that led to what does a good estate plan look like? And as we were talking back and forth, we couldn't ignore one main tenet of good estate planning, and that's establishing trust with people. And so building those bridges of trust is one of your core principles that you talk about. You have 32 core principles, if you want to call them that, in regard to setting up a good estate plan. And so there's so much to be said on that alone, but could you tell us a little bit more about your thoughts on building bridges of trust and how that parlays into good estate planning?
Sure. You know, in Seinfeldian terms, some people would say a trust actually means don't trust, or the settlor trusted somebody else more. But it's really more than that. Trust in a family between generations, which requires communication and cooperation, is paramount to a good estate planning result. So not only do you have to have trust with your professional advisors, and your advisors have to trust you as clients too. There's a mutuality there. But it's the family intergenerational trust that makes an estate plan really perform well. And the generations change and the family remains intact. Because at the end of the day, isn't that the most important thing, Ruth?
Yes, and I think we have seen beautifully done, let's say, estate planning documents, legal arrangements, but the end result is still not what you want or an outright disaster because of a lack of all of the other important matters that so often get forgotten about. For example, communication, being truthful to one another, showing what is going on in the background of things so people feel confident that you're doing what you should be doing and you're not hiding things or keeping things secret. And whether it's between spouses or between siblings or between parent and child or so on, it's so important to establish some understanding that there is a good working relationship and what's going on behind the legal documents. And this can be even just in terms of setting up a power of attorney. It's one of those basic estate planning documents, but there is so much to be said about trust and putting the right people in place and how people will perceive the person who's taking action on behalf of the principal and whether they're doing right or doing wrong. And it can really snowball. Once things start going bad, they really get worse. And it really does create terrible family dynamics, if not just outright cause family disruption and a lack of a family unit.
Well, amen to all of that. And I'm gonna tell you right now that from my standpoint, the family that communicates perpetuates. Okay. The family that communicates perpetuates.
It's a good one.
And if you don't, like in power of attorney, okay, that you mentioned, powers of attorney for most people are far more important than a will, trust, or non-probate avoidance technique. And if you want proof of that, price life insurance and then compare it to disability insurance. Disability insurance is far more costly because it's far more actuarially likely that you'll be disabled for a period in excess of whatever 90 days or whatever start period you have.
Mhm.
So trust is critical to this. But
Right.
before you can form a trust, or before you should form a trust, you should develop trust between the two generations, and maybe more than two generations, but
Yeah.
between the generations.
Wow. Well, I look forward to further conversations with you. We're thinking about some ongoing series that we can help people with as far as some of the good things to be thinking about when it comes to good estate planning practices. And I look forward to those. Thank you so much for this initial introduction on these types of matters. And I look forward to doing some more with you.
Well, like I said, anytime you need me, kid, I'm here.
All right, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us. This is Ruth George, Trust and Estate Attorney, and I have to mention that this video, as with any video I do put out, is for educational purposes only. It does not establish an attorney-client relationship, and I look forward to seeing you on another video.